record this. So I was just recently, welcome by the way, as I start this recording, welcome everybody to the Client Community Zoom. So grateful that you guys jumped on, and those of you who are joining the recording, I'm just really excited to be sharing with you tonight. The topic we're going to be talking about tonight is finding the motivation to move into action. And I was just saying how passionate I am about this topic and finding that breakthrough. I actually was just in San Diego a week and a half ago, just at a nutrition and behavior change conference. I attended it with a good friend of mine and a fellow health coach, Elise, and we learned a whole lot. And we took notes and we studied, and there were some things that really stood out to me, and I felt like it would be really impactful for my clients and for the community at large. And so I took some really specific notes, and I put together a PowerPoint for this. So I'm going to go ahead. Please forgive me. I'm on my phone, so I'm not quite as versatile on my Zoom as I normally am. So here I go. I'm going to open the screen, and we're going to go ahead and pull up this. And I'm just going to go through some of these slides as I move through this topic. But have you ever felt that you are stuck? Where you started out and you thought, yeah, I'm going to be so motivated. This is going to be great. And you get started, and then you get to a place where you're just not quite as motivated as you once were. And I want to talk about that because that's a really, really important experience to have. It's something that we all experience. Nobody stays hyper motivated all the time, but there are ways to get through that and to break through and move forward and get you into action. So I'm going to tell a little story. I want you to meet my friends, Tom and Susie. Okay, Tom and Susie are they grew up in the same town. They're good friends. Now they're moms and dads. They're not married to each other, but they're living their lives and they're just happy. But life has gotten in the way and of their health. And Tom is maybe not quite as active. He's sitting at a desk job nowadays, and he's starting to get a little bit of a belly. And he's starting to suffer with high blood pressure. And Susie, she's a mom, and she also works, and she's just balancing. She's doing a lot of balancing acts with a lot of different areas, and they realize that they're not quite as healthy as they once were. Well, Tom goes into the doctor, and he gets a prognosis. And Susie goes into the doctor, and she gets a prognosis. So they both have sort of a very similar experience. The doctor says, you need to get healthy. You need to eat healthier, start moving, make some healthy choices. And so then it kind of goes internal for them. Both of them know that they need to change. They have realized that there is a need for that, and they need to do it. And they both realize they value their energy and they value their good health. So there is an internal value there. And when they're making healthy choices, Tom and Susie are a little bit different in what they notice. So when Tom is making healthy choices, he's noticing that making healthy choices makes him lose weight by the next morning. So when he wakes up in the morning, he's satisfied and validated because he notices that the scale goes down. Susie, on the other hand, notices how making healthy choices makes her feel in the moment she makes the choice. She's noticing how in control she feels. She notices the clarity of thought. And there's a little bit of difference between Tom and Susie. Time goes by, and they have their very first week go by. And Tom was choosing health. It felt really good. He noticed it went down the next day. Sorry for the typo. Susie, she noticed that choosing health started to feel like a gift because during the day she started to have energy for her kids. She started to feel like she didn't have to take a nap every day. When her husband got home, she felt like she felt 100%. And so they were both super motivated through their first week. And Now life is starting to get in the way. Life with kids and work, it's getting busy. It's getting busy for both of them. It's a really busy season. And now for Tom, choosing health is starting to feel like more of a chore. It's like a to-do list. It's like something he has to do and get done. Whereas Susie is starting to rely on her healthy choices to enable her to function under the stress that's coming into her life. So now there's a difference in motivation between the two. Now, week 2, Tom's weight didn't really budge very much. It might have gone down maybe half a pound or maybe even a few ounces, but his motivation is starting to wane. However, Susie, on the other hand, noticed that when she's choosing health, she's even better able to cope in those stressful moments when the kids are having a crisis or when she has a big demand at work. And so now, instead of her motivation waning, her motivation is actually growing. And it's interesting because Tom and Susie have the exact same thing happening. They're doing the exact same health program. They're both on Optavia, woo-woo. And, but they're noticing that difference. Did someone want to share something? Okay, sorry. So what's the difference? I want to kind of go through this chart with you for a minute. This is something that we learned at the Behavior Change Conference. So there's different levels or degrees of motivation. And of course, the lowest one is where someone has absolutely no interest. They have no interest at all in changing their health, in improving themselves, in whatever it is. If there's zero interest, that's the lowest form of motivation. That is zero motivation. And then there's the next level up, which is outside pressure. And that means someone from the outside is telling you that you need to change your health or change something that you're doing. And that usually comes in the form of a doctor prognosis or maybe a diabetes situation where you are diagnosed with diabetes or something. There's an outside pressure. Or maybe your husband or your wife says, hey, you need to work on your health. That's an outside pressure. A should is sort of a semi-internalized pressure where it's no longer a full outside pressure, but it's kind of internalized, and now it's turned into, well, you know, I really should get healthy, or I really should say no to that slice of cake, or I really should this or that. And that is also not a very powerful motivator. But then you go to the next level up, which is something you value. What do you value? I value what? And either you value health, why? Because it feels good now, or why? Because it feels good if. Now, these are two very different outcomes. If you're going for feels good now, your motivation will stay consistent day after day after day after day. When you're focusing on the here and now, wow, that felt so great. Getting all that water in my system, I had the energy to get through that workout. Or it felt so good, you know, when I decided to eat vegetables for dinner with my lean protein, I felt so light, and I was able to go on a walk with my husband, and I enjoyed the evening. The feels good if is, well, it will feel good if in the morning my weight goes down. Or it will feel good if I can wear that skirt or that blouse that I want to wear. Okay, so it's looking to the outside instead of internalizing. Feel good now is internal. It feels good. I'm listening to my body and I'm recognizing how good this feels. A feel good if is going to the outside of you and saying, I will feel good if something on the outside of me changes. And if you have a feel good if motivator, you're going to be in trouble in a little bit. And so I'm going to kind of help you to redirect. And this is just another visual on this. So Tom, he had a lot of things in his life come into his life. He had kids, job, taxes, project, spouse, housework, school, and he viewed healthy choices. His view of healthy choices was like one more of those things. One more thing he just had to do. It was it's like just like a job. He had to do job. He had to do healthy choices. It was a chore. Susie, on the other hand, had a different perspective. And this is the mindset shift that I want all of you to get. She had kids, job, taxes, project, spouse, housework, school. But her view of the healthy choices she was making, it was like this lightning bolt in her hand. It was a superpower. It was the superpower that allowed her to fulfill her role as a mother in her work, in her projects, in the things she needed, her housework, anything she needed to do. The healthy choices she was making with exercise, with eating, with sleeping, those were the things, that was like her deep superpower, her secret superpower that enabled her to be the person she wanted to be. And that mindset shift, I'm going to kind of vacillate between these two. You can see here, Tom, he's cutting out healthy choices because it's priorities. You know, what takes priority? Kids or healthy choices, right? He's making an this or that decision. Susie, on the other hand, wasn't making a this or that decision. She was recognizing that the choices she was making were an enabler, a powerhouse. That was it, so to speak. It was fueling her ability to fulfill her role. And so I just wanted to share this. This is actually straight from the gal who taught us. Her name is Michelle Segar, I should say, sorry, Segar. And she talked about the wrong why. And this is called the vicious cycle of failure, or what she calls the vicious cycle of failure. And I think it's really insightful. When you're looking to things like weight or abstract, you know, clinical tests or cholesterol levels, and you're saying, I want to get healthy, it becomes a chore to do the things and to make the choices that are healthy choices. However, if you consider the things that you are, recognize who you are, and say, what am I? Who am I? Well, I'm a professional, I'm a friend, I'm a parent, I'm a partner, I'm a volunteer. These are the things that matter most, and these are the things that create the person that you are. And if you view the healthy choices as the essential fuel that you need to sustain who you are, then making those healthy choices and taking time for self-care becomes indispensable. It becomes something that you could not do without. And that brings me to what we talk about a lot together in health and in Optavia, which is non-scale victories. And I'm just going to kind of list a few of these out, but while I'm chatting about these, I want you to be listing out some personal non-scale victories that you have noticed over the years, or over the months that you've been choosing health. For me, it's been years. But I'm just going to list a few that came to my mind. More energy, more patience, clear thinking, your wedding band is getting a little looser, improved libido, improved self-confidence, happier, no flatulence, shiny hair, improved skin tone, fitting into the airplane seat. And the list goes on and on. I'm going to go ahead and stop share here and come back into this. And I'm going to ask if anybody out there could share with us some non-scale victories that you've noticed. It doesn't have to have happened this week, but things that you have noticed as you've been moving forward in your health. Yeah, Mark?
So I'm going away for the weekend, and I'm going to be speaking at a conference. So I've been wearing this suit that I borrowed from my son-in-law that's a little bit big on me. And I have a couple of nice suits in my closet. I haven't worn them in about 10 years. And I took one out, and it fits me perfectly.
That's amazing. How does that feel?
It feels great. I got a nice suit.
Yeah.
I can throw out the crappy one.
That's right. You get to wear the nice suit, and you get to get up in front of people and speak and feel confident. I love it. Anyone else? Did anybody have any insights into what motivates them long term? One of the things that motivates me long term, just like I talked about, is how I feel, but it's also my family. That's one of those things that keeps me going day in and day out. I think for a lot of people, it comes down to that. It comes down to how you're showing up in your life. Are you living a life that is abundant? Hi, Stacy. Are you living a life that's full and rich, where your health is not in the way, where your negative health, it doesn't get in the way, but instead you're feeling just that you can live without having any walls up? Those are the kinds of non-scale victories that are going to be motivating for the long term. And you have to notice them in the here and now. You know, we do live in a culture that is very here and now oriented. And part of that is because that is how our brains are wired. We like to be rewarded right away. And rewarding yourself right away is something you can always do. It's actually a matter of thought and mindset. So when you choose health, whatever it is that you do to choose health, whether you're choosing to go on a walk, or whether you're choosing to get in that extra glass of water, or whether you decide, hey, while I'm brushing my teeth, I'm just going to do a couple of squats. You know, I'm just going to do a little something that adds to my health today. When you make those healthy choices, you have to reward yourself mentally for those healthy choices. And recognize, listen to your body and watch your body and think to yourself, wow, you know, I'm noticing my legs are getting stronger. I like how that feels. Or I'm noticing going on a walk, I feel really good in the evening. I don't feel like my gut is sitting heavy. Or whatever it is, you know, reward yourself in the moment that it happens. Say, that healthy choice made a difference for me. And if you say that in your mind, or even say it out loud, that impacts your ability to choose health the next time. And it strengthens your ability to choose health. So that's what I have for you tonight. I'm just going to kind of see, does anybody have a time for me? What time is it right now?
8:52.
Perfect. Is there anything out there, like off the topic of motivation, is there anything that anybody is experiencing on their program that they would like some help from a coach with right now? Because I'm a coach and I'd be happy to help anybody on here. Any questions? Nope? All right. Well, thank you so much for joining in. It's good to see you. Good to see you, Sandy.
Good to see you too.
How's your family?
Everybody's doing good.
That's so great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop record here. Just a second. There we go.